All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome back. And you must be wondering what's the topic all about. And you definitely have witnessed it in the intro show as well. I have four guests today and special guests, familiar faces all around. Some of them has the jerseys on, some of them has the smiles on as well. But it's time not to look back to any of the specific games, but it's the throwback of the year as a whole. And I'll start with none other than Rohan with me. Rohan, how was the year 2023? Don't tell me disappointed. I'm expecting that from every single one. Is there anything different you want to say as a whole?
See, it was a mixed bag, to be honest. I mean, as you said, yes, disappointing because of the expectation that we had. We didn't meet that. But overall, still, if you see percentage wise, I think it was a successful year. If you're a Team India fan, definitely, yeah. But I'm including overall, if you see, even including women's cricket, also, it's a very successful year for Indians overall. So I think it's good. I think it would have been better if certain one odd result would have gone our way, but happens. What to do? Just hope for the best next time.
Absolutely. And Paji, coming on to you, which loss was, I must say, a bigger one? Was the World Test Championship final or was it the World Cup?
Oh, it's the World Cup, wasn't it? The World Cup was just, it was just heart wrenching. From somebody who's not living in India, seeing you guys, the way the fans bought in, the blue jerseys everywhere. And I can only compare it to what happened in 2019 when I was here and the World Cup was in England. And, the country was slowly, it's coming home. And then, but from India perspective, is from game one, everybody knew how good this team was. And, we were just waiting New Zealand match, overcome that barrier, and then just the final, wrong place, wrong time, the final for me. But what can you do?
Absolutely. Let's go on as the show goes. And Aryan, anything different from what Rohan said or Paji said?
No, what can I say? It all unfolded in front of my eyes, so I can't say really much on that. If it was on TV, I would have been very much okay. But yeah, I think this will keep on replaying until we win something anything. अब तो कोई नकली ट्रॉफी भी दे यार वो भी चलेगी. So that's become the that's become the thing right now. But see, we can only hope, and we tragic fans just every year the year changes. In 2 days, the year will change, but the desperation remains the same, I guess.
Absolutely. And Orko, is a reason behind I'll ask you at the end because you start the proceedings of this show as well. And let me tell all the viewers as well, we have given each and every of the participants to choose three. I'm so selfish, or you must say, but I've given just them three options to choose out of the whole year to choose the three epic moments they have chosen, be it from a neutral point of view, be it from their own team point of view, and you have to speak from any of the matches, domestic, league, international, anything. And I'll start proceedings with Orko. And Orko is first one and is no brainer. Orko said it in the first go as well. Rinku Singh, 5 sixes at Ahmedabad. I must tell you, when the ball was given to Yash Dayal, and I guess Umesh Yadav was the batsman who gave a single to Rinku, what was your hopes? Were you packing your bags or you still glued to your TV thinking maybe, just maybe?
Well, I was watching the television for sure, but I pretty much mentally packed my bags because I knew that scoring 30 or 31 of six balls is next to impossible, no matter how big a slogger you are or whoever the bowler is. The psychological aspect matters a lot because there's a difference between hitting five sixes in any stage of the game versus hitting five sixes of the last five balls of the game. So it takes a lot of courage, and I could even say that it's a fluke. But make no mistake, Rinku did do that even in the past. I mean, even in the Lucknow game, he hit four in a row. He almost won us the game had not that Evan Lewis catch happened against in Lucknow, I believe. The match happened in Wankhede. So Rinku is maybe born to do such things. So that gave him a huge name in the Indian circuit through the IPL, and hoping for big days to come through him.
Absolutely. And Rohan, you also had this same fixture as well. Unfortunately, I had to give it to someone who is a die-hard fan of the Kolkata Knight Riders. What's your pick? Anything different from what he said?
Absolutely not. I mean, due respect, Arka just nailed it to the point because who he did. I mean, Rinku Singh until then was a good guy who used to always be this 12th man who used to come in for KKR and do the
Absolutely.
useful work,
Fielding
fielding.
jobs. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, everyone used to love him in the KKR camp because he's friendly and uh, jovial nature. Even though not part of the playing 11, always used to give his 100%. That's the kind of a guy you love to have in a team, IPL team setup, especially for him to get a chance and to showcase his skills and to make a name for himself. I think that's what made every one of us happy, irrespective of which team won. A guy like Rinku Singh winning it is what made us more happier, right? I think that's what made IPL special this time.
Absolutely, and no brainers, Paji and Aryan. I don't think so. You just want to add anything out of that, but I'll ask you from the next slide because it's one of the common one everybody of you had chosen. But I'll give it to one or two of you. Glenn Maxwell, Orco, reasons behind. Same question to you. Were you glued to your TV when things were like? Were you whom were you supporting? To be very honest, because there had to be someone like we wanted Australia to not go to the semi-finals. Were you also on the side of the Blues?
Absolutely. I obviously wanted that minnow tag to be shared out of Afghanistan. I really wanted that juggernaut to continue. And who sensible enough would want Australia in the knockouts? I'm pretty sure no one would want that if they want their team to win. So I thought that if Australia was a thorn that was away from our path, it would have been easier. But then Maxwell happened, and how? I mean, it wasn't just a miraculous innings, but the amount of courage which comes and that amount of grit determination with which he played. He was almost down by one leg and he carried on hitting without any footwork, just by brute force and timing. It takes sheer guts, and more than the cricketing aspect, even psychologically, it's an absolute inspiration that happened that night.
Absolutely. And Aryan, I'll come to you. As he said, he was batting in one leg. When he made that Undertaker move and Adam Zampa was almost down the stairs, what did you expect? Did you expect him to get this team out of the line with one leg, or was it like a matter of time he will top H1 and get out?
We I mean, I have been knowing this guy since what 10 years now. In 2 days, it will be 10 years. So I always knew that he's somehow given the name Mad Max because teams pay him for this one day. And luckily, this one day came for Australia when they needed it the most. He's earned all his money due to this capability. That the day this guy comes off, he won't spare anyone, whoever you are, whichever team. And as a team, you always wish that he doesn't come off. So for Afghanistan, it was that day that he came off, and the way he came off, I mean, only freaks like him can do who have that like mindset of just playing freely because he I don't know how his mind functions. He's that kind of a character with pretty much within himself. Likes to just go about his business, and yeah, that he did his thing, and I don't think we'll see this kind of chase again in a long time.
Absolutely.
I might be wrong. Records are there to be broken, but this was something special, yeah.
Absolutely. There was something special. I'll come to Paji. Any additions to what Aryan said? You're another Punjab King fans?
Yes, well, this player I watched live for nearly 10 games at Edgbaston, and it was like a different, complete player. That player was a six, or knock a six, and he'll be out the next ball. Again,
Yeah.
didn't perform at all with the bat. He was actually a better spinner bowler than he was with the bat. So totally unexpected, totally switched off. Thought this game is over. And then suddenly he comes in and I thought, okay, I'll watch a bit of it. And then suddenly he just starts going berserk, hitting the ball for sixes, just and it wasn't bad bowling. I say even with Rinku Singh, I still say Yash Dial probably out of all the bowlers you want Yash Dial to bowl that last over to you because
Yeah.
I don't know why and what he is, but the bowlers he was hitting, and he was just clearing the boundary by miles. And like, I don't
Absolutely.
think there was any real half chances there. They were just clear, and it was the way the match Australia needed to win. And then Zampa was next, so he had left. That would have been over. But what made this innings was the partnership with Cummins. Cummins.
Absolutely.
Everybody does not look at Cummins at all, and then you
Yeah.
look at what he did in that game. You look at on my next topic when we do my topic,
Yeah.
you just see what that guy has had in this year. and how important he's been in some major things for his country is just amazing. But Maxi, it just had me on the edge of the seat. He was just like, oh, is he going to do it? Is he going to get out? Is he going to get out? And then when he did the Undertaker move, it was just absolutely amazing.
Absolutely. And Tanish says that that innings by Glenn Maxwell will surely be one of the greatest, if not in the ODI history. And he also says that, like Orko mentioned before, we were all in the Afghanistan end versus Australia. He was also saying maybe we were missing the game of England versus Afghanistan at Kotla. We were also in the end of Afghanistan as well. So Orko has done with his second pick. He has one more. And I must tell you before I go to his third that out of nowhere he has picked this one, and I was amazed that nobody has picked. No, it's impossible that anybody picks that, and everybody will give one reaction, I'm sure, with that. And he has given this one, the timed out moment of Angela Matthews versus Bangladesh. Also, the reasons behind you have done this, and this has never been in the history of cricket. What's your point with this? If this was given, then how long was VVS Lakshman out versus South Africa? I'm sorry, Saurav Ganguly.
Yeah, VVS Lakshman was in for a shower, I believe, and Ganguly came out for him. But I believe the Proteas, led by Smith, was more sportive as compared to the Bangladeshis. But yeah, that being said, it was obviously within the laws of the game. It was perfectly ethical. But to keep, watch on the time, whether he's coming out in 2 minutes or not, is a bit insane. There are more important things to concentrate on the field than just looking at the time. But maybe that was the only way Bangladesh thought could win the match, by getting out such a price scalp in that way. So it's up for debate. Many people may think otherwise, but I felt it was a bit unnecessary. But absolutely, we can sympathize with Matthews. He even actually got Shakib out in his first
Yeah,
over, and ultimately in his first over he was about to get him out, but sadly the catch was dropped. Later on he ended up getting his wicket when it was too late. So obviously it's a topic for debate, but that being said, it's perfectly within the laws of the game. But because it's never happened in the past, so obviously it deserves importance as one of the most iconic moments of the year.
absolutely. And Paji, any addition, subtractions to when this happened? What was your reaction behind that?
Same thing. I thought, Shakib would let him back in after the standoff, but sportsmanship and Shakib don't go together. So I thought, maybe,
The
yeah.
entire country doesn't go together.
And then obviously the press conference after it. Uh, and again, I think the importance of this pick and arc is well picked it, because I think it's going to change the laws to tighten this up, which is going to be good for the game. So I think overall that will be good. And then I was going to say, add on to this, just imagine Harris Ralph, who came on the pitch totally not ready. I know he had one ball
Without a
left,
pad. Yeah,
out of pad. Say if that had happened, say they needed 2 or 3 runs to win, and somebody did that, and then he had to face the ball without pads. That would have been like absolutely amazing as well. But I think, yeah, I really think that's going to may highlight this issue, and we might see a big change in 2024 with players not taking all that time to get in, and if they're
absolutely.
worried about the stop clock.
Absolutely. And coming to Rohan, Tanis says that if you would have been in the shoes of Shakib, did you would have definitely called back the appeal? Is it a no-brainer? Is it?
I mean, if it was within the loss of the game, right? So he did act upon it. Just that Shakib did it, it's got highlighted. Imagine if somebody else would have done it, right? That's the problem here. Also, it's good in a way that everyone's now aware of the law, also, right? You need some kind of a moment like this to make everyone aware of the kind of dismissals that are available, also. It's a good lesson that you should be ready, or at least communicate what's going on with the umpires who are on field. I mean, end of the day, umpires are your I mean, the people who
Yeah,
take the game forward. So they should be kept in the loop, what's happening, what's not, so that everyone's aware of the loss of the game and the time that's going on also. So it's a good thing. Yeah, it looked very bad when it happened at that time, but if you keep your calmness, end of the day you say, yeah, there was a fault from Angelo Matthews side. If there was a bit of clear communication, that would help. I mean, with due respect to
he should.
Bangladesh.
I feel he should have definitely communicated to the umpire.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. If he had told what was the issue with him, I'm pretty sure the appeal wouldn't have happened, nor the umpire would have accepted that kind of a thing. They would have said, "Let it go, take one more minute or so, whatever, fix the strap up, and continue your game." But thing is, communication with the Bangladesh or Sri Lanka with their players, their board, etc., has been a huge problem always. I think that just needed these two teams to put this movement together to make it happen. So, I mean, kudos to Arka, man. I mean, to pick this movement, I think it will
Exactly.
history kind of a moment for all of us to see it in our lifetime.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Aryan, you have been part of Kotla grounds as well. And Deepu said the crowd went bonkers and banters all around. Which moment do you think was more historic for Ferozshah Kotla? Was it Naveen versus Kohli, or was it this one where the timed out happened?
Timed out obviously because everybody was shaken by it. Naveen Kohli is again another thing that people made up and crowd made up. So that is nowhere close to this. This was something very odd. So yeah, like everybody said, good it happened, and I think now the games will finish on time. Hopefully, although I don't
Yeah,
expect to change anytime soon, but yeah, hopefully the games will end on time.
definitely. And we'll come to the final. So this is the three picks that Orko had. Orko is a difficult choice for you. You will definitely not like it, but if you had to choose one, which one is it?
Well, it's a very difficult choice to make, honestly. Personally, being a KKR fan, maybe Rinku's would stand out because it was an absolute miracle. I don't think it'll happen again. But if you look at it on an individual perspective, then maybe Maxwell's innings was the most special of them all. It was very inspirational, and it also seemed pretty impossible to play the way he did. And of course, the third one was perfectly in the laws of the game. It was hyped up. It was considered a joke. But that being said, I think out of the three, the Maxwell inning stood out for me the most.
Absolutely. Okay, so you're going for the Glenn Maxwell heroics at Wankhede Stadium. Next one, I guess it is Rohan. Yes, it is Rohan's first pick, and it is the run chase, or rather the one-run victory of New Zealand, the epic one, which happened at Wellington. Rohan, thoughts on this one? You took a test match, this one, and not just the only one who has picked a test match. What are your thoughts on this one? Were you awake when this happened?
Yeah, it was. The thing is, it's again a very rare thing where a team has won a test match following on. So it's I mean, the last time we saw it was when India beat Australia in that historic Eden Gardens test match where VVS and Dravid had that partnership to turn it around and the entire Indian cricket turned from them. But this was like England just baseballed on day one, scored almost close to 500. Then the Broad Anderson Robinson show dismantled the
Yeah,
Kiwis very cheaply in the first innings, enforced the fall on. I mean, rightly so. But then the fight back that Kiwi showed there, Williamson, I think Blundell was there. Some last minute hits by I think Mitchell. Yeah, Blundell, as I said, all those guys kind of got them to again a 480, 500 kind of score. But we thought, yeah, par maybe, but still Wellington, you don't know. The pitch kind of keeps getting better as the day progresses or the game progresses. Then England fought, and Joe Root was there. I mean, all that drama that was happening. And that guy, I mean, one guy from New Zealand who always has that big heart is Neil Wagner. He had to
yeah,
be there to
absolutely.
kind of grab that moment, as I felt. One run to go, ball a short pitch. I mean, that fight was known to ball the short stuff at your body to Steve Smith and all we have seen. But to get that wicket of Anderson at the last moment when things were really, really tight, man. I mean, that was history moment to get
Yeah,
someone caught down the leg side almost a few overs to go. I think it was the last over or something.
I
One
think the
run,
last over. Yeah, could
last,
be.
yeah. So such a tight match after a long, long time in a test match. Such kind of a topsy turvy thing we saw. I think that's why I went for this moment. It was New Zealand, Wellington, windy Wellington. We thought I think that lived up to the hype.
Absolutely. And I was just recapping this moment. I was just recapping why you were speaking about this one, which Gopal just mentions, is the New Zealand versus Sri Lanka one, which Kane Williamson dived at the last moment, which secured our spot in the World Test Championship final. Absolutely last right one, Gopal. We'll go to the next one. Also, a little bit of this one, Paji, to you. You have been a part of the England English side. Was it a shocking loss, or you would say a deserving victory for the Kiwis?
I'm gonna say shocking loss because obviously with the Kiwis, we expect them to flop in the major times, especially
Yeah.
unless it's against India. Against any other team, we think the Kiwis will flop. And again, it brought back memories of the World Cup final. Obviously, here the media was really, really hyped, saying England going to win. And then suddenly, Kiwis coming as surprising on the last ball as well. It was just absolutely brilliant. And again, as Rowan rightly said, he's having Wagner there. I really like Wagner. I like his bullish
Yeah.
attitude. I like the way he bowls, and for him to do that again. And Joe Root did bat really well in that tournament. But again, the follow on, they had to follow on and do it from that way. It was just an unbelievable feat from them. And again, some redemption for the way they lost the World Cup as well. So yeah, kudos to them on that one.
Absolutely. We'll go on to the second one. That is the Super 4 win versus Pakistan at the Asia Cup. We are generally not good in the replays, do we? In the 2-day games which we play in the ODIs, we have always lost. But what was your thoughts, Rohan, when India, unfortunately due to rain, that game went on to the second day and it had Kohli and Virat to come down? Were you even thinking of this kind of a scenario where we would get at something around 320, 330 plus?
This game importance for me, Pritham, was because following this was the World Cup. This was
Yeah,
the tournament where we wanted to set a template. Who are the players? What role everybody has to be identified? The fitness of a Jasprit Bumrah returning. All those things were in highlight for all of us. And suddenly we got this. Blessing in disguise, maybe Shreyas Iyer got injured, and Lokesh Rahul came in literally the nth hour of the game, and brilliant knock, outstanding knock there under pressure, under whatever circumstances. Yes, Virat also was there with him. Both of them got a double hundred partnership there against Pakistan. Yes, before that, Ashubman Gill and Rohit Sharma just
Rohit Sharma. Yeah.
destroyed Shah and Afridi there. That gave us that momentum. But these two doing that and kind of gave us that sense like, yes, yeah, our middle order is settled for the World Cup. No issues. Even if a Rohit or a Shubman doesn't fire, these guys are there moving forward. The previous game in that same fixture, we had Hardik and Ishan do well. So we're like everyone's getting a good go, good batting outing there. So we are all that sense of calm was there because of this game. And I followed it up. I think India bowled them out for 120 odd. Kuldeep picked up 5. So like everything is hunky dory now. So moving forward, everything's gonna go well. The World Cup, the dream that was there. I think this game kind of set us all up with that hype.
Okay. And Alco, I think you wanted to say something, is it?
Yeah, and as Rohan Bhaiya said, it's absolutely important that we did well in that tournament because that was like a dress rehearsal before the World Cup. And the fact that Rahul came back from injury and what a comeback that was to come back with such a knock, with a blistering century, and that too in certain conditions which weren't that easy to bat. The Sri Lankan tracks were pretty much turning. So the Pakistani attack also was pretty fierce. So Rahul doing that and Kohli doing what he always does, and ultimately our bowling also chipped at the right time. And to win such a battle against an arch rival is obviously heartwarming. And before the World Cup, that was a good dress rehearsal that happened, especially for our middle order.
Oh, did that knock of KL Rahul confirm him as a regular number 5 in the ODI slot?
Absolutely. I mean, he's got that head, that psychological brilliance that he has to keep his head calm even when the team suffers an early collapse. And he can also shift gears when required to play, when the slog overs are coming. So he can, play multiple roles in that particular position. So he's certainly made for that position and he proved it even in the World Cup and also, of course, in this match of the Asia Cup.
Absolutely, very well explained. And we'll go to the third pick for Rohan, and that's you're the only person, Rohan. I must tell you, kudos to this one. You're the only person that has selected a woman match, and that's absolutely kudos to that one. The Test victory against Australia, historic, I must say. But how did you look into this one? How well did India team play that they defeated Australia?
I mean, before this game, we had just beaten England, so I
Yeah,
know it was slightly more easier. We may have felt, but there were talks about the pitch being too spin friendly and all that thing. And Ali Sahil, the Australian captain, was like, "We have better spinners, so be
absolutely.
careful what you prepare." And all those talks were going on. So beating Australia, come on, man, the world champions for a reason in all formats. To beat them in a Test match, I think that gives Herculean effort to the girls. Yes, the coaching staff, Amon Mujumdar and co, all of them would have strategized and planned, but the girls executed it brilliantly on field. I mean, again, expectation was from the spinners, but Pooja Vastrakar coming on and picking up wickets. a decent spinner. I mean, I won't say a person who gives you a really big rip. Someone like a Snare Rana picking wickets
Yep.
and being the man of the match. Uh, Shefali doing a bit, Jamima doing well. I mean, these kind of performance is what lifts you. Richa Ghosh on debut scoring a 50. All those factors come in, and for me, this was a historic win, as you said, to beat Australia in a test match. Yes, it may be in India, Mumbai, but the crowd support was there. Everything overall, I think this victory would have given a huge fillip to the boost of women's cricket in India to beat Australia, because we beat them in a T20 or a ODI. But
Yeah.
to beat them in a test match meant we beat them fair and square, in all clear departments, no advantages, nothing to be talked about. We beat them fair and square. That's it.
Absolutely, and well, very well explained. Aryan, anything agree, disagree to what Rohan said to this one? Historic victory for the
No,
women's team, is it?
no, I think good, excellent win, and it was icing on the cake that it is against Australia, who didn't give up. Even after that first Indian innings, we thought ki will wrap it up, but they fought. They were in there. They did take the lead, although a slender one, but they punched it, and India had to fight hard for their win, and that is why it's even good that it was a hard fought win. And I think I don't know about how women's cricket is being looked at in this country. Are they going to give them more test matches? Are the other boards going to say yes, we can have more test matches? I don't think so, but I really wish that they get more tests. At least a two-match series can be organized. Not much, because that will be a good start on a regular basis. Like in a month, you can play two test matches. That's not tough. You can schedule two test matches in a month. So let's see where the organizers go with the schedule.
Absolutely, and very well explained this. So, as a whole, this is the three picks of Rohan: the Wellington Test match, the Asia Cup win, as well as the women's two couple of Test matches and one ODI game. Rohan, if you have to pick one, is it the Indian victory or anybody else?
If you had won the World Cup, I told that India Pakistan win would have been the best thing. But I think just for the moment it created, that India Australia Test match, the women's victory I think was slightly ahead, because of the importance it gives to the women's game here, and the kind of inspiration it can generate to the young girls coming up. I hope that's my pick. That's what I would go for.
Okay, fantastic. With that, I'll move on to the next person. I guess it is Aryan. Yes, it is Aryan. Aryan, World IPL final you have chosen. This is not a 2 day match. This was went on for 3 days. I must tell you, this went on for 3 days. The World Cup I'm sorry, the IPL final at the Narendra Modi Stadium. You were not in any of the teams. You were from the neutral side. 10 runs, 2 balls to go. Where were you heading to? Was it go Mohit Sharma? Or was it go Ravindra Jadeja?
First question is I was heading to work. If that is what you are asking, I was in a bus when this all was happening. So,
Okay.
uh, and then I think Mohit Sharma. I think that break that came after the fourth ball really made the effect when there was stoppage in play for like 5 to 10 minutes. I mean 5 minutes, and that gave Jadeja the clarity to. I mean, his mind might have been cluttered for a moment when all the dot balls happened, but that just gave Jadeja split second, to think. And then Mohit Sharma just misexecuted. Maybe his rhythm went off. But I think with Dhoni, these wins are written in destiny. And I think that is all you need to say. Chennai Super Kings winning the IPL and the final going on for 3 days. When did you hear of that? So that was also crazy stuff. And yeah, that is why it's in my list, number one.
Absolutely. And Bapali, I'll come to you. This is a very important point with Aryan mentioned that he nailed the four Yorkers in the first four deliveries. Sometimes is it too much of an advice that creates a problem for a bowler, or was it he was supposed to be left alone and let him do the job?
If they're unexperienced bowlers, then obviously you give them the advice. But Mohit Sharma had bowled really well in this tournament, and I'll talk it on when I do mine because that was one of the biggest shocks. I was sitting right behind him when he was fielding, and it took me 10 minutes to register that it was Mohit Sharma because I was not expecting him to be anywhere near an IPL team, and then he deserved. He's placed all the way through the tournament. He had bowled really well. He was their top bowler. And then for Jadeja to do what he did in Gujarat, playing for Chennai, I think the only thing it missed was Dhoni announces his retirement winning the IPL Cup.
Absolutely.
I think that was the only thing missing. And after 3 days of torture, it was great to see it finally ended the way it did. But again, memories made, history made, and it's one that Jadeja will be remembered for, Dhoni will be remembered for, and in a few years' time, we'll forgive Mohit Sharma.
Okay, and Orko, adding to this one, Destiny Written says Aryan for Mahendra Singh Dhoni winning for CSK. Was it like Apaji said? Was it the right moment? And when the prize distribution started, did you feel for once that Dhoni would announce it?
Yeah, I did. I actually felt that his time has pretty much reached, or rather crossed its twilight. I felt that that was the right moment for him to announce that he's hanging up his boots. But for some reason, he didn't because he believes that he'll definitely not retire, as he said even in the past. So he wants to continue again. And I believe he'll undergo a surgery also in the coming few weeks or months. And we don't know how well he'll play this season, but the psychological presence of Dhoni, even if he's in the team or in the dugout, that pretty much lifts the spirit up for CSK every single time. So, as Aryan Bhaiya rightly said, destiny was always written in favor of Dhoni every single time. Maybe the destiny that ICT, the Indian cricket team, lacks ever since Dhoni left is something that has helped CSK go forward towards winning yet another title. And coming to the Mohit Sharma aspect, I believe that he bowled four splendid Yorkers, and probably they could have just left him alone to decide what he
Absolutely.
wants to do next, because he's no stranger to such situations. He's a very experienced campaigner. But sadly, I don't know whether it was the advice that went wrong or was it his momentum. But ultimately, it didn't go the way of Gujarat. And kudos to CSK and MS for getting past the line through Jadeja.
Because he knows what was needed. So he know his jaws was there. But I think there were Hardik coming and Miller, Rashid Khan, too many crowds, and like Aryan said, 5 to 7 minutes break. That just shifted the momentum, and that could be one of the things. And when that went for six, it was all pressure on Mohit Sharma rather than pressure on Ravindra Jadeja, and he did not execute it well. Going on to the next one of Aryan. This is a surprising win, rather a special win for the Punjab Kings. Paji had picked this as well, but unfortunately, I hand it over to you. Sikandar Azar's epic 1 3 runs of the final ball. When it happened at Chennai's Den, did you expect this victory?
No. First of all, no. Blind no, because we are chasing 200 runs on a Chennai wicket where the ball is going to turn square. I was like, guy, can't say. But then it's not a Sikandar Raza win. It's the proper T20 template win. Everybody contributing with a high strike rate, and there are no big contributions. This is proper Trevor Bayliss map on this scorecard. If you take out the scorecard, Prab Simran in excess of 150. Shikhar Dhawan started off well. Then came who came? I think Taide came, and then Livingston started, and then Karan started, and then finally Sikandar Raza finishes it off. So this was actually a win that this team was structured for in 2022, that they're going to go all hard, and then beating Chennai for the first time in their den. I mean, this was our second victory. We beat them once in 2010 in under David Hussey. And this victory will always stay special for Punjab King fans, because again, I think this fulfilled the purpose of why this team was built, and I hope that 2024 they continue to play the same way, because it's the last year. We don't know how many of these are going to stay with us. So, yeah, so this was one of my moments, because this was totally unexpected, and yeah, great win.
Absolutely. And as Paji, another Punjab Kings fan, I have to come back to you. I think Aryan forgot to mention Jitesh Sharma as well. Was that the game he
Yeah,
was?
Jitesh,
He was.
everybody.
Yep.
Everybody.
Jitesh as well. Was that the beginning of the time when Punjab Kings started looking at him as the finisher?
Yes, and Shahrukh even came into that one. So
Okay.
it was just as I said, Aaron said the template was written, and again it got to the last ball. The history was against us. Chennai had never lost a match, getting 200 and batting first. Nobody had ever beaten them there. We weren't expected to come anywhere near or close to them, obviously, because we hardly had any spinners, and their spin attack was already good. So everything was stacked against. Punjab. So that's why I say that match itself, and then obviously the Mumbai game when we with them as well. those are the close ones for me. But this one, and Raza, the way he scored, because I think they needed three, didn't they? Needed three of the
Three of
last
the
ball.
last ball. Yep.
They needed three of the last ball, and where he placed the ball. And if you watch the replay of it, he actually practices the shot. He's
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
take
correct.
so it was like, oh, what's he doing? And then to then execute it, that was unbelievable. And the way they celebrated it, it was such a big, big victory for Punjab, and it was unexpected. I think when the underdog wins the game, it's you always better, and especially when it's your team. And the manner that it was just amazing. And to be
This
fair,
is like in 16 years there was that David Miller's knock, two
Yeah.
David Miller knocks against RCB and against Pune Warriors, which he won it for us in Mohali. But this ranks in like top five or top three Punjab King
Because
victories
it was a high
in the
scoring
16
game.
years.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, we
Exactly.
we chased 200,
201,
so which is no
201,
joke in Chennai. So yeah.
yeah, to do that.
Absolutely. And Deepu says that it was a day game at Chennai, and that gave us all the other teams hope that Chennai can be breached if they play at their full potential. And absolutely correct with that. And Paji, I'll come to this one. Tanish has a question for the Punjab players. That is, if, as I mentioned as well, Jitesh should be there in the plans of the T20 World Cup 2024. If KL and Pant is not there, he says, I would want Jitesh Sharma more than Ishan Kishan. So who is your two wicket keepers if you look into the T20 World Cup circuit?
I think they will go with KL. I think KL is guaranteed his spot. Jitesh, unfortunately, I think it's just a crowded market for wicketkeeper batsmen. And Ishan, I don't know why Ishan is picked ahead of him, because if you look at what they actually do, Jitesh is head and shoulders above me. And again, we've seen the Rinku Singh Jitesh partnership starting. Why would they not want to do that? Yeah, let's see what happens in the IPL this year to see who happens. But I think for me, I think KL will be the wicket keeper in all formats. I think that's
Okay.
the way we are going. And then you can pick any other one. And I really want Rishabh Pant to come good and come back well. But whether it's too early for him in the World Cup, I'm not sure. So I think they will
Absolutely.
go with Ishan Kishan will get the job, because obviously the Mumbai Indian connection. So I
So
think
you're saying KL Rahul and Nishan Kishan?
that's what they'll pick. 100% sure.
Okay.
पाजिक
Rohan, to
भाई
you.
पोल ना
Yeah.
खोलो,
Yeah.
पोल ना खोलो
Yes,
यहाँ
Rajan.
इस शो में क्यों क्यों पोल खोल रहे हो?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
Rohan, coming to you.
Bring back
Yeah.
Tala. Bring back Tala. If you need a wicket keeper, bring back Tala. Just bring it.
Rohan, coming to you. Do you agree with Ishan Kishan and KL Rahul as Paji mentioned, or is it somebody else?
I feel Jitesh has an edge over Ishan because Ishan is mainly a top order player and we are packed with top order players. So I know he's a lefty and all those things come in, but we need a guy who finishes. I mean, as Padi rightly said, Rinku and Jitesh, that partnership is gelling well for the finisher role. And if Hardik also joins in, I think that will give that little bit more power that's required to finish off games. So hopefully Jitesh is continued with. I mean, he did recently well in that series in South Africa, also a couple of good hits there, and prior to that here in the home
Australia.
series as well. Yeah, so I hope that Jitesh is given a good go and pitches in US and West Indies may help his kind of stroke play more better than compared to Ishan. I felt.
Okay. So you're saying Jitesh Sharma and KL Rahul, is it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on to the final one of Aryan, and that is the semi-final. And it has taken us a long, long time to come to this slide. It is the World Cup semi-final against New Zealand, which we finally defeated New Zealand at the ICC events for the second time in the same World Cup. But which was most special to you, Aryan? Was it the first innings, King Kohli, or was it the second innings where after the drop catch of Mohammad Shami, he came back and picked up 7 wickets?
I think overall as a package, because we got the New Zealand knockout monkey off the back. King Kohli got his 50th. Shami got 7 wickets, and that gives us now I can say false hope. That gave us false hope of lifting the trophy, and we kind of forgot how strong Australia is. We were like we were literally in the mode of we are invincible, but I think it brought us to ground pretty well. We were all flying high. We need to be brute about it. We were like, no one can defeat us. It was the mood in the country, so to say that we are just scared of New Zealand. If we go past them, then whoever comes, we can smash them. But yeah, that's what cricket shows you. And but this match, yeah, this was important because India obviously had that New Zealand jinx. They broke it, and at least now we know for a fact that if we face a semi-final, we can win it. So that is the uh, positive that I would look at. That yeah, if we reach the semi-final of any ICC event, we can win it.
Okay. And I'll come to you. Before this game, I think 2015, 2019, people were mentioning that Kohli doesn't play well in the knockout games, but it was how important was for him to perform and at the biggest stage in front of his idol, score the 50th ODI 100.
Well, there's a reason they call him the king. So the king is meant to perform when it matters, and maybe two bad issues or two bad incidents doesn't make him any lesser than what he actually is. And come at the hour, come at the man, and that's what he exactly did. And that too against a team who has been our nemesis for a very long time. We beat New Zealand twice, and in both the games Kohli shown, he almost got a century even in the first match that was in the league stages. So that pretty much shows that he stood up when it matters. And to break that particular jinx of New Zealand, to get the monkey off our back, we obviously needed Kohli to do well, given the fact that it was a semi final in a World Cup which India was expected to win. But sadly didn't. And also not to forget the contribution of Gill, who played a very nice 70 plus innings, but sadly he could not continue because of his injury. And Shreyas Iyer also played a wonderful blitz of a century. So combined efforts, it totally took us past the line, only to be beaten on the bad day versus Australia.
Absolutely. Absolutely agreed with that. And Aryan, you have to pick one out of these three. Who is it? I'm definitely sure you're not going to pick the
It's
IPL
India's
2023.
semi-final. Yeah, semi-final.
India's semi-final against New Zealand. Okay, so Jay says that it's not New Zealand, it's Australia who took the revenge in the World Cup finals, and he has been perfectly replied. But Deepu says that we got beaten by a good side in Australia. Even in the league stage, it was the Aussies who troubled us. At the first game of the league at Chennai, it was almost they gave us a scare, but KL and Virat got us over the line. And it's the final slides. It's the final person that is Sandy Paji. You said about this one. This is KKR versus Punjab at Mohali. It is your first game at Mohali. How was the experience? And also talk us through this one because it was you're facing one person who's already in the show. KKR. It's Orko.
Yes, it was just the day itself was just amazing. Like I've been to loads of live cricket matches, but the one tournament I'd never been to and I always wanted to go was the IPL, and to have that in Mohali, my favorite ground, was amazing. And it was just everything from going into the ground, the vibe in the ground, just berserk. It was just amazing atmosphere, and the game itself was really, really good. I was sitting with Mandeep's wife, Mandeep Singh's
Okay.
wife, who's playing for KKR. I was with her, and I was also with the Venki. So I was sitting one seat back to Venki Mysol. So I was sitting there, and I couldn't. When we were winning, I couldn't hold my emotions down, so I had to get up. And next to me was Preeti Zinta's brother and her family and stuff. And it was just absolutely brilliant. And we batted well. I think we got about 190 odd score. And then Ashdeep, he bowled really well. He took 3 wickets, and we thought, oh, the game's over. The game's over. And then suddenly, KKR started coming back, and they started getting there. And around the 15th over, it was still 50-50. And I just fancied KKR might just see it home. And then it just absolutely lashed down with rain.
Yeah.
And the match was called off. And then, it was like trying to get out the ground in India. It's just, oh my God, it was chaos. It was like the human traffic, the traffic you get there. No, you can't cross the road. It was just bedlam. But going home, after 3 hour, 4 hour drive after we've won was an absolutely brilliant feeling. So probably my favorite day of last year was that first game at Mohali.
Okay, and I'll come to the fellow Punjab Kings fan, Aryan, first. That is, till the time Dre Russ was there at the crease, did you even feel that, okay, we have the game in our hands, or was it we had to get him out, otherwise he will take the game away from us?
I think we had to get him out, otherwise he was looking in a mood to finish it off pretty quickly. And luckily, Mohali has big boundaries because that hit was six on any ground in
Yeah,
India, and he got caught at deep mid wicket.
deep
Raza
mid
took
wicket.
four catches, and Sam Curran somehow he's been smashed. But the first two games he proved that okay, he's the right investment. But as the tournament progressed, Punjab Kings were looking at their money and they were like, "Oh shit, whom did we pay, man?" And they retained him this year also. That's also a surprise. So let's see what they do this year. I can tell you that we might qualify or not. I don't know about that, but we'll give some heart attacks to the fans for sure. And yeah, there'll be some close matches every time we play, and we raise the TRP of the IPL. So if we are not there, there won't be any TRPs also. So we are a very important part of the IPL. That's all I can say.
Okay, and coming to the only person, the KKR fan, Orko, how was your moment out this one when Andre Russ was batting? You even had many batsmen. Even Venki was there in the middle order. What would you hope? Were you even hopeful that this could turn around?
Yeah, actually we were because though we lost Rinku very early, he I think fell off the first or the second ball. But Russell was going good. I felt we could have gone past the particular target if Russell stayed a bit longer. But sadly, he fell, at the wrong time, and then the rain came in. And even before the rain, if you believe, the momentum was with KKR because Narayan hit a six off his first ball. Shardul
Yeah.
hit two out of the ground. So that thing was completely shifting or tilting towards KKR. But that being said, a lot depends upon the rain gods, the luck that matters. If you remember, even before the innings started, around half an hour, there was a delay because of that floodlight issue or whatever happened in IS Bindra. So if someone looks at it that way, that if that delay hadn't happened, maybe the match would have been
Yeah.
completed before the rain was interrupting. So maybe the result could have been different had the match been on, but that would be crying foul. So it was a loss, and I do happily accept the loss as well. So kudos to Punjab for getting past that game.
Just
Was it the?
one thing to add, Pritam, on that is, in a Mohali, what happens is after the 15th over, they switch the music off. So once they switch the music off,
Actually it's not in specific Mohali. It's in Kolkata as well. After 10 o'clock, there's no music.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
exactly. I
So
was
I
in the
didn't know
return
that.
leg, and yeah, in Punjab KKR game for the return leg in Eden. I was there in the Eden, and that happened even there as well. At 10 o'clock, the
It's
music was
always a
off.
rule because of the
Yeah,
High Court. It's always an order that after 10 o'clock, there's no music.
Yeah,
the
and then
music's off.
as I say, when the music went off, the fans actually started watching the match, and then the worrying, and then people started getting the heart attacks when Ray Russ was
Yeah.
going berserk. So I think that was just amazing experience. It was.
Absolutely, and even Tanis said it's same in Delhi. I think it's the same in everywhere because even the Wankhede where we defeated New
It
Zealand,
wasn't.
there
It
was
wasn't
no.
the same in Punjab. I've been to games where the music was on full blown. It was when 2014 I went. It was on then. I went to 2016 or 2015. I don't
I think it was
remember.
way
Then
before
there
that
was
time. That was there wasn't any
yeah
rule in Eden
Yeah,
as well.
now they switched
yeah.
it off. They switched it off
Yeah, now
100%.
now it's after a
Mm.
certain time they have switched it off, and
Yeah.
that was the reason behind that. Yeah, it could be agreed with that. And going to the next one, that is this epic chase by Pat Cummins and co at Edgbaston. It was the baseball show that happened in the first test where Zach Crowley started proceedings with a boundary. Where were you looking forward? I'm sure you were looking into England, was it, Paji?
Yeah, we thought it was over. So I went to every day of the test match, and we just thought England were going to bring it home, and then they started taking the wickets. But again, this is why I picked this one. It was just Pat Cummins. I think for me, there was two cricketers that shone out for me. Virat, obviously, with all the records he broke, but Pat Cummins to me was. It was the man of the 2023. He's got the 20 crore contract. He's got everything. He won the World Test Championship. He's won the World Cup, and he won this match. And if you take it in the context of the Ashes, had he got out, Nathan Lyon was on the other end. They definitely would have not. They would have fallen short. England would have won that Test match, and then with the way the Ashes went on, and we would have won the Ashes. England would have won the Ashes. It would have been an absolutely blistering thing. And again, Fortress Edgbaston. We know it as Fortress Edgbaston, and they breached Fortress. The hype going into the match was absolutely amazing. You're not going to win, and then suddenly, I think it's Kawaja played really good,
Yeah.
out of the blue, he knocked a century in that game, and then England came back, and then right at the end, you thought it was Broad and Anderson are going to get them all out, and they just fell short. And again, it was the man. And the moment I remember most of that Test match was, I think it rained for a bit, and then Pat Cummins walked right in front of me, and he went to the nets. And I know where the nets are, so I could have met him, but I didn't do it. So it was probably my most disappointing thing as well. So, but again, it was brilliant. It kept us on that edge of the seats, and then when England lost, it was just the crowd, the atmosphere had just died. It was like a funeral. So I'll always remember that.
Okay, and I'll come to Rohan now for this one. Yes, we have spoken about this game, and Paji has said that. But I want to come to this epic moment that happened in the Ashes. It was the switching of Bales, which you noticed in the recent past of Virat Kohli doing the same. What was your reaction, firstly, of Stuart Broad, and when Virat Kohli as well did it? Did you even hope for a wicket in the next over?
No, man. I mean, honestly, you feel these things are just the superstitions or some stuff that every player does these things. But when it works, now then you start thinking maybe something we are on it. It happened. Brought I think twice or thrice it has happened with them. And Virat, I think, out of your sheer frustration, was like, let's get something here, and it happened at least. So I don't know. Maybe we should have done it more often. Maybe this Test match could have helped us maybe a little bit. But jokes apart, good game. I mean, to add on to Paji, I think this was the first Test of the series. So for Australia to
Yeah,
win that, I think that kind of set the tone to the entire Ashes, as well as that first day declaration which England did, which
yeah,
everybody was still questioning about. I think that also sent a message that you can't be too aggressive at times. Sometimes you need to use a bit of brains also.
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely
Because we were
agreed to that
stunned when they took the declaration. We didn't know
declaration.
what happened. It was just like, what's going on? And then suddenly they just went on there. And again, the good thing about Australia, this is one, when they tour England, they bring a lot of fans and they block them. They put them in specific blocks of the ground,
Yeah.
and that increases the banter amongst the home fans and the away fans. So it's really really good. I like the way they
And
organize
and
their
and
tours.
Paji, and also to add to this point, how much did England missed Mark Wood in the first couple of tests?
Yes, because the guy was on fire, and on the fresh wickets of England, you can have that extra pace. Definitely
And
comes in
bounce.
handy. But again, they were always going to play Broad and Anderson, so how they would fit him in there, and obviously in the early summer, the spinning tracks aren't as bad until the late summer. So usually when you get to the oval time, which is the last Test match, then the spinners start coming ahead, and obviously with a lot of sunshine. And it also depends on obviously the weather, and the days were sunny. So again, Mark would, in sunny conditions, he'd probably be the pick of the bowlers.
Okay, okay, I'll go on to that one and going to the final one. That's been a common one which we have discussed before as well. But still, Paji, it was one of your favorite most moment. Uh, you can speak a little bit about this one when I guess 7 or 8 wickets went and Pat Cummins was coming. Did you even hope for once that there could be a miracle behind the show?
No, I did not believe this, and I had a very good Afghanistan friend who I met through the cricket in that area. We were just like texting each other, and I was working and like doing other things, and he was going, "Oh, Afghanistan are going to win this," because we had a kind of like a bet saying that he was thinking Afghanistan will beat Australia. I said, "No, this is not going to happen. This is not going to happen." And then suddenly he starts texting me saying that, "Oh, look at it,
It's
watch it, watch
happening.
it, gotta watch it." And then I started watching it, and then it was just the big show turned up that day. And like Aryan said, this is why franchises believe in this player, because that one iconic moment, and I think he got the 200 with the six, didn't he?
Yep,
Yeah,
absolutely.
he got the 200 with the six, and
With the
just
six as well as won the game with that same six.
yeah, exactly. So it's like that last, that barrier. Is he going to get the 200? Is Australia going to win? It was just epic. And again, we were saying that, in cricket, all this movement on the crease, what batters trying to do against bowlers, try and psych them to get into a better position. This just tells you basic hand-eye coordination, head still, and hit the ball. Yeah, that's the key things of good batting. The key skills of good batting is being in the right position, making sure you're in the right position. And if you're moving around up and down the crease, finding that center point is sometimes difficult. So I just hope, I'm sure that the Big Show will be back at Edgbaston next year. Let's hope he doesn't move around as much as he did, and learns a lesson from this, and then does the same thing. Because obviously, I'd watched him so much during the season, and to be fair, it was probably the biggest disappointment, him with the bat, because I was just expecting him to do, what he was doing. But he would get in, he would knock a six, and the next ball he would get out. It was very similar to what Liam did for Birmingham Phoenix
True
in the
that.
100. He would knock a brilliant six, and the next ball he would get out. So I think I really had a bad season. After the KKR victory, I saw Punjab Kings lose a couple of games at home, and then every game I watched of Birmingham Phoenix, every game I watched of Birmingham Bears, and even supporting India. I think I am the jinx. So on that note, I better I better be quiet and say bye bye, tata to 2023.
Absolutely. And a little bit of Orko, I want to hear a little bit of this game as well. Was it that just because it was Afghanistan, a little bit of inexperience lacked to the in the bowling lineup as well? Did they not bowl properly strategically? Like he was unable to move, so he could have they could have definitely bowled a little bit outside the off stump or stretched him a bit more. Was it a little bit of inexperience shown there?
Absolutely, the inexperience totally showed in their particular manner of functioning. They could have certainly gone a bit wide. Maybe they could have yorked him outside the off stump or something like that. They could have actually prevented him from playing in that arc which he's so familiar with. He's so good in the leg side. So they could have done that, and it clearly showed why they are inexperienced. And also, if you look at the basic cricketing thing, they missed a few catches. And if I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, he was dropped
Mujib
thrice.
dropped the match.
Yeah, and Mujib
Mujib.
dropped him first, and those were absolute sitters, to be honest. So if you can't do the basic things right, obviously players of such high caliber will bite you, and that's what precisely happened. Even though he was down with a leg.
Yeah,
Absolutely. And like Deepu said,
Just
Mujib dropped
just
the.
one thing to
Yeah.
add on to that, Pritham. You know what it is? As I said, I've watched so much cricket in my life. The difference when this is when a team is not used to winning and getting over the line, that's when their skill set gets tested. And I think had they been batting, you would probably seen them make more mistakes as well. So I think it was just the occasion, and obviously, had they won that, I think they would have been favourites for the top four.
But you can just I would say yes, I agree, somewhat agree to that, but you just can't blame the 11 players as well. Even the management is supposed to be blamed. I still remember the time what Ajay Jadeja did at the pavilion when he was dancing there, and they had the side screen issue with that, and the Australia had the last laugh. So I think those things matter with a small team with such experienced players being the in the management end. You definitely need to send proper messages to the players, and I think that also lacked a bit. But now, Paji, time for you. Choose one game out of three.
I'm gonna choose Cummins, Edgbaston, the knock, because I think it just set the tone. It was an amazing Ashes series, and I think the Bairstow run out as well. Everything
Yeah.
to do with that. It just made it really fascinating. And watching the player, the man of 2023 perform in that. For me, I say I really like struggled with who my man of 2023 is, and Cummins for me, captain,
We'll come to
leader,
that.
legend.
I'll ask you to hold your horses. We'll definitely come to that one. But it's time for going to the top five batsmen in the test match format first. And this is what I've picked. I've gone with Usman Khawaja, Steve Smith, Travis Head, Joe Root, and Kane Williamson as my top five test match batsmen. I'll come to Rohan first. Any agree, disagree with this one?
Oof, yeah, man, I think you nailed this. I mean, Head is having a heck of a year already. I mean, World Cups, the WTC final, everything. Williamson's been good. Khawaja too. I think, yeah, I think I agree with this.
Okay, and Aryan to going into the bowling setup, Nathan Lyon picked up 500 wickets, and even Ashwin was good versus Australia. And then you, like Paji said, Cummings has to be there. So is the bowling top five as well nailed here, or any changes you want to see in the test?
No, I think it's pretty much certain they all had a very good year in the test circuit. And yeah, with the WTC Australian pacers, bowlers being there, no surprise, and Ashwin also. Obviously, I think, yeah, nothing much to change.
Okay, so that's what he has as well, Aryan. And Stuart Broad, like Deepu mentioned before as well, the epic was Stuart Broad picking wicket in the final wicket as well. You go into the ODIs one as well. I'll come to Paji now. Paji, any agree, disagree with the top five batsmen, the bowlers I have picked for the ODI format?
Oh, I would, yeah, I probably would agree. Again, you don't want to pick Daryl Mitchell, but he has to be in there. And Travis, obviously, he's done really well. Quinny did well in the World Cup. So again, I think it's probably we've got that right. Could we switch? Could we put Rohit in there? That's probably the only question because of the World Cup. Because obviously, the way he set the tone in the
Yep,
World Cup,
absolutely.
that set the foundation for everybody else. So, and then Shubman, yeah, in the World Cup, did he have the great World Cup at the end of the day? Probably out of the top four, he probably didn't have the best one. So, yeah, I think I'd agree with the stats. So, you can't really argue against that.
Okay, and I must tell you, this is not a lot of stats. I must tell you, this is the picks of I have gone with. There are few players that have been scoring a lot of runs in the top five list, but I haven't included them. And one of them is what Deepu mentions, and I want to hear about Orko as well. He says that check out Shubman Gill and get in Rachin Ravindra. Do you think he's worth of getting into this one? Just a one World Cup, a 2 and 2.5 months performance. Does that add to the value of the 12 months of what Gill did?
Well, yeah, it's pretty debatable because Gill obviously did well in the entire year. He was among the highest run getters, so we can't discount that. But yeah, that being said, he had a very mediocre World Cup. And on the other hand, Ravindra, he stood up when it mattered. It was his first World Cup, and no one expected him to do that well. People expected him to go for big bucks in the IPL as well, which he didn't. But obviously, that doesn't take a leaf out of his contribution for New Zealand. So I believe that Ravindra could be there, but perhaps Gill because of the overall aspect that he played well, apart from the World Cup also. So maybe Gill's inclusion was pretty much obvious.
All right, so you stick to Gill, and I think the bowlers as well pick themselves. Paji, any changes for you in amongst the bowlers?
No, again, Siraj disappointed me in the World Cup final, but had a good season. So I'd say that Shami definitely, the man of the find of India there, and for me, Kuldeep, the mount, the way Kuldeep has improved for the year. You got to pick him. Zampa was probably after Kuldeep the best spinner in the World Cup as
Yep.
well. So those two were there, and Shaheen. He does it in certain games, doesn't in certain games, but again, he's taken a lot of wickets. And I think the T20 format, up top, getting him to bowl out that, I still think that's his better suit because he does get or go for a lot of runs at the end of the innings. So at the start of the innings, he's brilliant. At the end, is he that? But again, you can't really argue against the spinners, the two spinners. Shami has to be in there, and Siraj for over the season. I think it's the right pick as well.
Okay, and like you mentioned about Shaheen, I'll come to Rohan now. Rohan, okay, so before I go to Rohan, Deepu says Stark in place of Shaheen Shafridi, says Deepu. I'll add him as well, Stark as well, and even a little bit of Dilshan Madhushankar. Was he
Exactly.
worth
I wanted to point that out.
the debate of Shaheen Shafridi, Rohan?
Yeah, yeah. Even I would have picked Madhushankar because new guy coming in the Sri Lankan setup, kind of a lone warrior. He did even the World Cup. He was exceptional. I mean, to get that wicket of Rohit in the Wankhede, the exceptional ball. I think that kind of earned him that MI deal also. But uh,
Very true.
yeah. So I think overall, if you see as a package, because Shine, we have seen what he has done in the past, but I think this year he was on and off. Fitness also may have been an issue. So I think for that reason, I picked Madhushanka ahead of Shine.
Fitness as well as a little bit of he has dropped a lot of pace in his
Yeah.
bowling as well. So that's
Marriage, 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 Pritam.
yeah, true that,
Not
absolutely
marriage,
100%.
not marriage. Phone drops after marriage.
I'll not go to that one, Paji, though. I'll come to the T20s. One first name that comes when we speak about T20 is Sky. He keeps that format to himself, but I've picked Yashasvi Jaiswal. Has been good in the Indian colors, but Rinku Singh has been my find, not because of what KKR has done or how much Orko loves this man, but I just love watching him play in the middle order. He is has to be my real finisher for Team India in the T20 World Cup 2024. Nicholas Puran was sensational for West Indies, and then you have to get G Maxi. I'll come to Rohan first. Rohan, any debates on this one?
No, I mean, especially Sky and Nicholas Puran, I think have been the gun batters of the T20 for this year. I mean, Yashasvi, yeah, has done the power play bit, so and so, still a long way to go. But Puran and Sky, I think single handedly have won matches for their respective teams.
Okay, and also going on to the bowlers one, Rashid Khan unfortunately did not play a lot of games, but had to be taken. He's one of the best amongst the T20 format. But Arshdeep Singh, I'll ask Arshdeep about to Paji, but you can skip that play and speak about the rest four. Bishnoi, Behrendorff, and Shaheen. Your picks on this one? Bishnoi was named the T20 rankings the top. How was these?
Yeah, I mean Ravi Bishnoi obviously is a pretty usual choice because of late he's been good in Indian colours. Even in the IPL, he was pretty effective, and the fact that he can bowl even in the middle overs and the power play, occasionally comes in to bowl an over in the power play, and he gets a wicket. So I think Bishnoi's inclusion in this is pretty obvious, and the fact that he became the number one bowler, people obviously question why and how. But anyhow, he's still there. I mean, I don't know whether he's there right now, but he had possess that particular tag as being the number one bowler in the world. And Behrendorff obviously has been a power play specialist, not just for Australia, but also in their domestic circuit, even for the Scorchers and even for MI. So I would obviously believe that Behrendorff is a good find in the T20 format as a power play bowler. And Shaheen, even with that finger injury, and as Paji said, his marriage and all coming into the fray, his pace might have dropped a bit, but somehow he has found a way to get a few wickets. He's always in the top wicket takers chart, even in the T20 or the ODI circuit. So the way he adjusted to certain conditions a little more than how his other teammates like Haris Rauf or Hassan Ali did even in the World Cup. So Afridi's inclusion as an overall all-format bowler is kind of obvious, though his pace has dropped after his injury.
But just I want to add a little bit going into the off topic. How has been Pakistan got a good find of Hamza? He has been terrific, I must tell you, for Pakistan. How good has he been for you, Orko?
Absolutely. I mean, he's a proper swing bowler. I mean, Pakistan swoon over the fact that people need pace to get into the team, but that man is not total pace, but a bit more about accuracy and swing. So Hamza is obviously a value addition who needs to be groomed, and I believe he will shine a lot for Pakistan in future.
Absolutely, and 100% agreed. But I've kept that player for you, Baji. Go on with Arjdeep Singh. How has he impressed you for in the T20 circuit?
I think we're seeing him now mature. I think again for Punjab early on in the tournament he was really good, and then he had a little dip. Then he came into Kent, and then obviously got his red ball skills up to thing. And I think there's a lot of change. I think if you look at his body shape at the start of the year to how he's growing, his muscle definition, and he's getting the variations in his thing. So he's had a very good year. It might not look it on the stats side, but I think the development side, I think Arshdeep is definitely improving in all formats. We saw it in the ODI series. His death bowling is he was getting a bit more predictable. So I think batsmen could work it out. So he has been working on his skill set, and I think that is going to hold him in good stand going into hopefully the IPL. And then I think India definitely need him in the World Cup as the differential. And I'm just waiting. I say like Shaheen Shah Afridi, he's done well. I want to see Jasprit Bumrah in the team because I think the way he's come back, the injury ravage, I think we are going to see the best Jasprit Bumrah. And can we see Jasprit Bumrah and Arshdeep bowling together? I think Bumrah would be the perfect mentor for Arshdeep, especially at the death bowling. And if India get the death bowling right, I can't see any team beating them in the World Cup.
So you're saying Arshdeep and Bumrah as your two pacers. Rohan is always waiting for something to add up onto that. Rohan, who is your third one? Is it Mukesh Kumar?
Purple Patel.
Nah, nah, nah. No, to add on to what Paji was saying, I think that stint at Kent kind of made him a better player as a fitness wise. His batting also improved a bit. I think as a cricketer, I think he's matured a lot because of that county stint at Kent. I mean, his red ball skills also improved there, and that kind of gave him the stamina to be a good rhythm bowler and improve his fitness also. That in turn improved his pace as well as the late movement that he was getting. I think that showed in the T20 series versus South Africa. So it's a good workout that he had there at Kent. Third bowler, I think it's still a juggle there. Siraj, Mukesh, or Shamim may be coming in. Harshal definitely no. I know he went for 11 crore odd, but we know in US kind of can get batting easier. If it was just the West Indies pitches alone, like a Guyana or those slow and low pitches, I think that's where Harshal would have come to his own. But if the pitches are flat and small grounds there, I think he'll travel a lot more there. So I'm not picking Harshal. Sorry,
Okay, so you're saying a mixture of maybe Siraj Shami or Mukesh Kumar.
Mukesh.
All
Yeah.
right, and we'll go to the final slide. And here is my four nominations for the Player of the Year. I would want to know individually yours, and then also to the fans as well. Who could be yours? Gopal says Gopal has his answer. We'll definitely reveal that. I start out with Paji. Paji, out of these four, or if there is anybody else as well, who is your Player of the Year?
Definitely Cummins. Superb leader. When it mattered most, turned up to the party. And again, at the start of his captaincy, there was a lot of doubt whether having a fast bowler to captain Australia would be a good choice. And his maturity as a leader, there's nothing that I do not love about this cricketer. And, those that trying to compare Chippery Pandya to Pat Cummins really need a reality check, because this is levels. This is levels of player. This player is the team player. He's heart and soul of Australia. I just hope, and I don't support Sunrisers, but I hope he just turns up in the IPL, because I think Alaka will know this more than me. Has he been an IPL success? I don't think he has, but to tick that box with the 20 crore price tag, if he can do that, then for me, he's definitely going to be one of the best, not just this season, in the history of cricket.
Absolutely, and I think today as well he showed his experience because Pakistan were almost taking the game away from them, but he also came back today. And Gopal says Pat Cummings, and Jess says Pat Cummings as well. And I'll come to Deepu yours when we come to that player if anybody says that. Orko, I'll come to you first. I'll speak. I want to know who's your player, by the way.
Without a doubt, Pat Cummins. I mean, the overall journey which he's had, even, I mean, not just looking at this year, when he started his career back in 2011, he was deemed as that typical raw fast bowler who needs grooming. Then he played that South Africa tour, impressed everyone, got injured for a number of years, and couldn't come back ever since. People thought that that's the start and the end of Cummins. But then he comes back, he shines in the red ball, and then ends up getting the captaincy. And what a leader he has been. He has literally spun webs through his field sets, not just his bowling. And the biggest asset that he has of late developed is his batting as well. I mean, if you look at the knock in the IPL when he scored a 14 ball 50, but clubbed with that, even some mature knocks like in the World Cup, if you remember the semi final, where he almost bailed out Australia versus South Africa when it was a very difficult track out there in Eden. So he's a very street smart cricketer, able captain. He had a very bad start to the year, losing his mother, but what a comeback! He totally shifted his focus to the international cricket. He let go his IPL contract, and comes back to win every trophy that's there on planet as a captain and as a player. So what a find! And obviously, I hope that he will continue this. He's not very old either, so obviously he will be my first choice as the player of the year.
I was
Okay,
going to add
and
that bit. I was going to add that bit with him about losing his mother, and that adversity coming back from that is just mind blowing. The mental strength and the courage and the leadership for him to do that, just salute.
sensational. Yeah, absolutely. And even Orko, like Paji mentioned about his IPL contract with Sunrisers Hyderabad, do you think was it the right price tag or was he a bit overpriced? But the performances he has shown in 2023 was he deserved that.
Well, I expected him to be the costliest player because of what skill set he provides as an all-rounder and even as a captain. There are many teams that are looking for skippers, so obviously they would go for him, keeping in mind that they can retain him for maybe 2 or 3 years just because of his leadership. So I think his price tag may not exactly be justified because it's 20 crore and we have never seen that before. But that's the thing with mini auctions, they are very disproportionate. People usually go for the skills than the money. So some players tend to be overpriced, but ultimately the skills that he provides is certainly worth it.
Okay. And a final person, that's Rohan. Rohan, coming to you. Is it some different answer? Is it the same player?
Even I'll go for Pat Cummins. The reason being, I mean, not just leadership, the time at which he stood up to showcase his role during the World Cup, as Paji said, with the bat, at the big moment in the World Cup final, I mean, getting Virat out, those key movements as a leader, I think, stood out. I mean, we say captain is as good as team. I think he brought this team up at the right moment. Guys who are a bit, mercurial, like a Maxwell, getting all those guys to deliver at that best. I think you need that strong leadership, and Pat Cummins did that. I mean, starting with the Ashes, he retained the Ashes, won the WTC final, and finally culminated with the World Cup. So 50 over World Cup. So I think Pat Cummins has won everything that was there to be won this year, and I think that kind of justified the tag that I think he should be the player of this year for me. I mean, the only
Okay.
low point would be in that 20 crore thing, man.
Absolutely,
Okay.
that is true.
Okay,
That is
but
true. That is true.
unfortunately, Deepu ends alone. That's Deepu said it's none other than the King Kohli, Virat Kohli. He said,
If we
but
had won,
it's
definitely Virat.
debatable. It's
Well,
definitely
Virat is above
debatable, but
awards. You don't need to put Virat on paper to call him the great. He's above awards. He's the person who makes records fear him because he breaks every record that comes in his way. So he's beyond all these awards, honestly.
Yeah.
but I'll ask you the same question about triumphant as well, like I asked Paji before, which was the bigger loss. But which innings turned out to be more heartbreaking? To you, Orko first, was it the World Cup final or was it the World
Yeah.
Test champion first innings?
Well, yeah, the World Cup final was pretty heartbreaking because I think before a knockout in the World Cup, I was very confident that India would lift the trophy this time around. I thought that the jinx was broken because we beat New Zealand, and it kind of felt that we can beat a five-time champion more easily than a New Zealand, which was obviously not the thing that happened. So obviously that innings hurt us, and more than the innings, I believe that the catch hurt us because the only man who showed intent throughout the first innings was Rohit, and people may say that he was a bit hasty in going after
But that was
that
his
hit.
role.
That's his role. That's how he plays, and unfortunately, no other player could uh, propel themselves out of that position. So it's sad that we lost it. Yeah, and obviously the one that hurts more is the World Cup final of the 50 over format because WTC is something that happened in foreign soil, but this was an Indian soil World Cup, and to not win it with that amount of crowd support and form is absolutely shattering. And maybe that's what the Australians are made for.
Absolutely. And Paji, a little bit add on to what Cummings has done, and he has also taken some risky decisions as well. And not to add to the point, the World Cup final, winning the toss and electing to bowl, was that even more risky?
Yeah, and again, we were all saying get the board, get the score on the board, but he read the
Yeah,
conditions perfectly and basically said, look, if we take them, he looked at the previous match that they played against them, said if we can get them up top, we can take early wickets, we might be able to skittle them out. Then, and there was three key players that they were really worried about, and once they Rohit had that catch that Travis had took, had that been dropped, I think India would have probably added another 30 runs and then 270 in a final, then you're talking a different game set. But 240 in a 50 over match with Australia's batting lineup, I thought they had definitely made the right call, and he made the right call in the big times as well. So I think captaincy and performance. That's why I still put him over Virat. Although Virat, the 50th century in front of Sachin, probably was a moment of the year.
absolutely. 100% agreed with that. And that also concludes our show as well. It was so brilliant to have all of you. Even Aryan was part of it. Unfortunately, he probably had network issues or what. So I'll start with Rohan. How was this one? How was this show as well for you? Getting to know the three of us and getting their players and their epic games, and even you sharing yours. How was the show for you?
As you said, it's a good recall, of all the memories that we had this entire year. I mean, Test ODIs as T20s as well, IPL including. Great stuff, good recall value. Just thing is, hopefully next time when you do that, we'll have more happier stuff to remember, including an India win, hopefully.
Absolutely. And come to Orko. Orko, any thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely enjoyed the show and with familiar faces like you, with Rohan Bhaiya and Paji, of course. So it was a lot of fun. And like Rohan Bhaiya rightly said, it would have been happier if we had ended the show on a happier note, saying that we were world champions as the year ends. But sadly, that didn't happen. Our jinx continues, and we have to get that monkey off our back. And I don't know when, whether it will be 2024 or later, but I hope it comes soon and maybe the next year.
You said when. I'll pass on the question to Sandy Paji for you first. How was the session? and can the jinx be broken in 2024?
Yeah, session amazing. Again, like you made me think, and then made me then rethink, which I really like doing because obviously when Rowan mentioned the New Zealand game, I didn't have that on my radar, and then obviously the Dr. Arca saying the the moment of the timeout, it just brought back a lot of memories. But again, I personally want to thank you three guys and everybody who supported me during the year because I think we've really helped each other. During the
Yeah,
IPL, you guys did such a wonderful job with me and the Sada squad. Honestly, I couldn't have done that without you guys. So our friendship, our bond through cricket is absolutely amazing, and I love you guys. And we want to carry on supporting each other, and I think this is what. When I started this journey in this cricket media kind of stuff, I've got a lot of experience, but I wanted you guys to step up and do what you do. And, amazing to chat to you guys always about cricket. Improves me, makes me feel young. And, I remember being Dr. Akbar talking about open heart surgery and doing stuff. It was just, it was just really good. And, honestly, keep the channel growing, keep the cricket going. Next year's going to be amazing. We got the World Cup. We've got IPL, and then a lot of cricket to come. So, guys, hopefully share some brilliant more moments with you guys.
absolutely. Thank you so much to the three of you. Even thank you to all the fans who are tuning with us as well and giving your views as well too in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe to the Fifth Umpire as well. That's it. That's end of 2023. We will definitely stay tuned with us, you guys, in 2024 as well. Thank you so much for this long show. It was an amazing one to the three of us as well. Thank you so much and good night.
Good night.
Nice.